ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਨੂੰ। ਸੀਜੇ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਅੱਜ ਖਾਸ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਕੈਵਨ ਫਾਲਕਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ BC ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੀ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਰੇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜੰਪ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਯੈਸਟਰਡੇ ਫੇਸਬੁੱਕ ਤੇ ਲਾਈਵ ਅਨਾਉਂਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ 2 ਕੋ-ਚੇਅਰ ਪੁਨੀਤ ਸੈਂਡਰ ਐਂਡ ਡਾਇਨ ਵਾਟਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਹੀ ਡਿਸਾਈਡਡ and announced his bid for a leadership for BC Liberal Party. And welcome, Kevin, on my show.
Sat Sri Akal, CJ, good to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you. So as everybody knows, you know, you served first MLA from Surrey Cloverdale and then served various cabinet posts. Minister of Transportation, Minister of Health, and then Minister of Finance, Deputy Premier, and then you stepped back, Kevin, for a good 10 years, and you gone to the business world and Executive Vice President for the Anthem Capital. I hope you're making a lot more money, better money than as a politician. Why you decided to jump back into this race again?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to point out that nobody gets rich being in politics. That's for sure. I think most of the public can agree with that, as it should be, by the way. Why did I come back? Well, for the same reason I left. I left because of my family. I had my eldest daughter was 2 years old at the time, Josephine. And Rose was, my wife was pregnant with our youngest daughter, Rose. And I left because I wanted to spend more time with my family and I wanted to build a secure future for them. My kids are now 11 and 8, and I'm looking at what's happening to the province. I'm very concerned about the total lack of leadership and the total lack of competence in government. And I want to try and come back and contribute. This is genuine public service. It's definitely not in my self-interest, but I think it's important for the province I love to try and get in there and do what I can. It's a better place to live.
So another question in a lot of people's mind is how you will renew the BC Liberal Party. And as you know, somehow they disconnected with the grassroots people and lost that contact. And then from a ruling party, and they lost by 1 seat, and then the last election they lost quite a bit. How you are going to renew and revive this party?
The way you do that is through leadership. And leadership means taking time to be involved in the community. As you know, CJ, I've been involved in the South Asian community since way back in the early 1990s when I was the campaign manager that elected the very first Punjabi speaking individual to public office, and that was Surjit Kuner to the school board back in 1993. I ran him when he was to be on council. Unfortunately, not successful, but I tried so hard to get him elected to council. I've been involved in the community in Surrey for many, many years, and I think it's that kind of grassroots involvement is how you get people supporting your party again and supporting your leadership. And I intend to reach out to the different ethnic communities. I want to make sure our party and our candidates reflect the broader community, that we're diverse, that we come from all kinds of backgrounds, regardless of sexual orientation, regardless of socioeconomic background, regardless of ethnicity. They're all going to be welcomed in the BC Liberal Party led by Kevin Falcon.
And Kevin, at one point or other, BC Liberal Party labeled, maybe wrongly, you can clarify that it's a lot right-wing party, and whatever you said about the diversity and you know other minorities, either gays or lesbians or you know Native Indians, that they were losing contact with them. How true that is, and how you bring everybody in the fold?
Well, you know, I think there's some truth to that, frankly. But the way you do it is the way, even when I first ran in 2001, I was in my 30s. So I was a pretty young guy back then. but we had 6 or 7 South Asian candidates. We had at least 4 to 5 Asian candidates. We had 2 LGBTQ candidates at least, and we were a diverse group of folks. And I think that's why it comes back to leadership. Gordon Campbell made an effort to reach out and ensure that the party reflected the communities we represented. That's more important today than it even was back in 2001. And I can tell you this, I want this party to reflect our community. And I will personally be reaching out and ensuring that the members and the candidates do reflect the broader community we live in. And that's as it should be, but not like the way the NDP does it. The NDP says we must have a quota system. And that's no good, because that then puts an asterisk beside people's names and says, well, CJ really is only because he's South Asian. I don't want that. I want people that are competent and that we're reaching out and saying, we love you and want you to be part of this party. Please run for us. And that's how you get diversity.
And my next question will be, Kevin, to you is are you going to revive the party? Are you going to change and create a new brand for the party?
Yes. One of the things I've said very clearly is that I think we need to look at a name change, because a name change can be part of the whole rebranding of the BC Liberal Party. We've been BC Liberal Party for, since, the late 1990s. And like anything, sometimes you need a refresh. And what I want to do is see if we can get beyond labels and get beyond political parties and just have a nice big tent that everybody who shares our values and our principles, that a private sector driven economy is the best way to generate revenues so that we can fund really great services, can be part of this party. That's what I'm trying to do. And I think a name change is a big part of that.
And that leads to my next question, Kevin. Surrey is always taken for granted. You were MLA from Surrey Cloverdale. You are well respected and known in Surrey, and we lost a bunch of seats in the last election. How you bring, for a few examples, hospital, announced by Liberals, then by NDP, nothing happened there. Then we talk about the Patalo Bridge or Massey Tunnel, because that put a pressure on the traffic on Delta and Surrey. So how you bring the people from Surrey Delta area back in the fold?
Well, the first way you do it is by doing what you say you're going to do. Remember me, sorry, as the person that 4-laned 176th Street, that 4-lane number 10 highway, that built the Portman Bridge in spite of the opposition of the NDP, who were opposed to that 10-lane bridge. Let's not forget that. I was the person that actually got the Surrey Memorial Hospital expansion done. $400 million. The Jim Pattison Outpatient Center was done under our watch. These are real clear results that people can point to. People can say whatever they want about Kevin Falcon, but they cannot say he doesn't get stuff done. And the problem with the NDP is they talk about things and they process things, but they never actually get anything built. And the fact that they canceled the Massey Tunnel Bridge, a 10-lane bridge that was that we already had an accepted contract in place that was $600 million less than the bid price, and the NDP canceled that. And they wrote off $100 million of the money that was already spent, and now they're talking about building a 4-lane tunnel. Are you kidding me? It's no different than what we have today. It's exactly that. Or even the Patalo Bridge. They're going to spend $1 billion replacing 4-lane bridge with another 4-lane bridge. Are you kidding me? That's incompetent. That's not Kevin Falcon. It'll be very different under me, I can assure you.
And the next very burning topic is very true. When you were a transportation minister, the infrastructure you built, and so looking forward to similar kind of in your leadership. But the current issue is a lot of youth and young gangs, and people are dying every day. And unfortunately, in a broad daylight, and when the public was there. So how you handle this gang violence issue, Kevin?
I think there's 3 ways that we handle that. Number one, much more support, financial support for the gang unit to ensure that they've got every resource they need to go after these drug dealers and gang members and harass them to the point where it's going to be very clear you don't want to be a gang member in British Columbia under a Kevin Falcon-led government. Number two, we need to have dedicated court judges and prosecutors who only deal with gang issues. And that way they build up the expertise and the knowledge to be able to know who these people are, to be able to deal and three, we also need to make sure that early on in our communities that we have programs that help divert these young people so they're not getting into the gang lifestyle. Most young people, most young men, unfortunately it's mostly young men, but not always, but most of them are getting in because they're getting the reinforcement and the support and the feeling of friendship that maybe they're not feeling at home or in their neighborhood or their community. We have to make sure we've got the right programs to divert them into positive activities and keep them away from the negative gang activities. My heart breaks every time I see these stories of young men that are dying in the prime of their lives. It is awful because you know what? They're young. They're making bad decisions like we all did when we were young. And we have to intervene and save them from giving up their lives that have so much promise.
So, Kevin, how you will balance, like you alluded to that BC Liberal is a big tent. So there is a conservative federally, there is a liberal federally, there is a NDP. How you will draw the line and how you will bring these three different thoughts, three different policy sides together?
The way I will do that is by having big ideas that everyone can get behind, regardless of what their political philosophy is. Not everyone is an NDP supporter, a liberal supporter, or a conservative supporter. Some people are nothing. They just want leadership, and they want honesty and candor from their leaders. And I think that's something I can provide, and a sense of optimism about the future. This is a great province. We live in the greatest province in the greatest country in the world, and we need to have government and leadership that reflects all the promise that we have in BC. I think I can do that. And I don't care whether they're lapsed NDP members, whether they're conservatives, federal liberals, Greens. I want them part of this party because we're going to be the party of ideas and leadership.
And Kevin, your final comments to our viewers, please go ahead.
My final comments would be that I have always loved working in the South Asian community. CJ well know. I have lifelong friends in the community. I'm honored at the support that I receive. I'm honored to have received an endorsement from Suk Dodwall the other night when I announced my campaign. And I'm honored to continue working in the community to make sure that we create a future that we can all be proud of for our kids and our grandchildren.
And thank you, Kevin, for your time. And as you know, next Thursday, May 27th, we have full hour conversation. Thank you and good luck to you.
Thanks so much. Great seeing you, CJ.
Good to see you. So ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਕੈਵਨ ਫਾਲਕਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ BC ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੀ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਦੀ ਰੇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਅਨਾਉਂਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਟਰਾਂਸਲੇਟ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੇਨ ਮੁੱਦੇ ਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਵਿਊਜ਼ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਫੈਡਰਲੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ NDP ਔਰ ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਆਈ ਵਾਂਟ ਟੂ ਬ੍ਰਿੰਗ ਐਵਰੀਬਡੀ ਟੁਗੇਦਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਯੂਥ ਦੇ ਵਿਲ ਬ੍ਰਿੰਗ ਐਂਡ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਰੀਬ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ ਇਹਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਵੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ ਅਤੇ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਸ ਕਮਿੰਗ ਥਰਸਡੇ they're both co-chairs, Puneet Sander and Diane Watts will be on my show to talk about these issues. ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ following Thursday, May 27, Kevin will be in our studio full hour and I will open the phone lines to talk to Kevin directly or to Puneet or Diane Watts. ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। Sanjha TV, CJ Sidhu, a ਖਾਸ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ with Kevin Falcon.